Welcome back. It's just gone 20 to 10. Now, some Booysens residents are trying to rebuild their homes after a fire destroyed about 500 shacks on Saturday. No fatalities were reported. City of Johannesburg's MMC, Mlungisi Mabaso, was on the ground at the weekend. He's joining us now live via Zoom at this hour just to give us an update of what's been happening on the ground. MMC, good morning, and thank you very much for your time. You were on the ground on Saturday, and also eNCA and other media were on the ground to look at that terrible situation of the fire that had destroyed those shacks. Monday brings rain, the back of tropical cyclone Eloise that affected Mozambique. What's the situation this morning? Are those people being provided with the necessary shelter?
No, thank you very much, and good morning to you and the viewers at home. Saturday morning we were there, and I was accompanied by MMC Arnold's MMC for Community Development. So the first thing that we had provided to them on Saturday was the TLB to clear off the site because they had already started to rebuild. So the request that they've made to us was that we must not clear the site because it will be difficult to identify where their shacks were located and the sizes of their shacks because there is a contestation on the space within the informal settlement. So, and the second thing was that some of them were afraid to move because they were scared that when they come back, they will find that there are other people that had occupied their spaces. So we accepted that, but we said we are going to work with them and monitor the situation very close. So yesterday when it was about to start raining, I engaged again with MMC Arnold's, the very same MMC that I was with on Saturday. Then we had provided two facilities, community facilities. They are not around the area, they are a bit far at Mayfair, where we said we are going to give them two, where we are going to house the males and the females, especially those who've got young children. So we had then informed the EMS that the MMC Arnold has provided two municipal facilities where we can keep them until the rain passes so that they can go back and continue to rebuild those shacks that were affected by fire.
So as we speak, is it safe to assume that the EMS, the Emergency Service of Johannesburg, managed to locate, especially the women and the children, in those two Mayfair community centers we are talking about? Are they there now?
Well, I was in a conversation earlier on with MMC Arnold today morning before I received a call from one of your colleagues where we were still discussing to finalize that to say EMS should have been started with that process. And she said she's going to check for me with the caretaker in the facility whether they have started, because we have requested them to start last night, and they promised that they are going to make sure that last night they moved them because the rain started last night. We did not want the rain to find them there on the street because they did not have any place to go to.
Okay, let's hope that has happened, and we'll try and get an update ourselves as a news media organization. But your role is more on the housing, MMC, I understand that. It's more on the infrastructure.
Yes.
You've reached an agreement with the residents of this informal settlement in the Booysens area that you're not going to clear it, you're going to help them to rebuild. How soon can the rebuild start, in your view?
Well, they started on Saturday, but what we've said as a department, because there are a lot of shacks that got burnt down, there are about 756, with 1,566 individuals that were affected. So we said because there are those that had already started that were able to get the material for themselves, we said we are going to help those that had not sufficient material to rebuild. So we are in that process. As the department, so we are monitoring the situation very close. Our guys have been on the ground with the EMS and the NGOs that we are working closely with them, and they are also giving us updates because they are on the ground almost on daily basis since the incident occurred. So we are going to assist those, but we were waiting to see those that do not have, because you know, when you come as a government and you say you are going to provide assistance, even those that were able to provide for themselves, you know, they will just stop and wait for you to come and give them more material so that they build. So we wanted to wait and see really those that are really in need of the assistance so that we provide them with the material to rebuild.
That's a short-term solution, one would gather, because none of us want to see any South African citizen living in an informal settlement. When you, as a city of Johannesburg, see what's happening there in Booysens, and in the short term you're assisting them to have a roof over their heads, is there a medium, long-term plan to house them in proper structures?
Well, after the informal settlement got burned down, I spoke to one of the directors within the department, Silo. So I've requested him to engage with the national government to try and make an application for emergency housing fund. So he's busy with that, and I spoke to him earlier on today. And he said he's still busy with that process. So we will just wait for the national government. If they approved it, then I think it's going to assist us a lot as the city of Johannesburg, because that then means we'll have budget to go and find a vacant land where we are going to relocate these people, because the informal settlement is highly congested. You know, the fire engines were there on time, but they couldn't get inside to extinguish the fire. So that is the problem. And we said we don't want the informal settlements which are congested in such a way that there are not even access roads that get inside the informal settlement. So we are going to write to make an application to the National Department of Human Settlement. If they approved us, then we are going to engage with JPC so that we get a vacant land, and we are going to relocate those people so that at least the informal settlement do have access roads to get inside. So when we do this, because it's part of our informal settlement upgrade, because we've come to realize that if you want to deal with the housing backlog that we are currently facing in the city of Johannesburg, you cannot just do it by providing houses alone. So you also need to provide, to upgrade informal settlement, give them stands right where they are, give them services, permanent services, and then give them title deeds. So in the long run, when they've got sufficient budget or when they've got money, then they will be able to rebuild for themselves. So that's the program that we have introduced in the city of Johannesburg as part of dealing with the housing backlog. So we are going to do that to them as well. But that will depend on whether our applications is approved by the national government. And the other reality that we are facing in our informal settlement, that, you know, it's illegal foreign nationals that are majority in most of our informal settlement. And when we do these programs, because we cannot provide them with stands and take it easy. So we will have to bring in Home Affairs to come and assist us. So in an absence of having Home Affairs assisting us and Human Rights Commission, then we'll left with no choice but to leave them in those informal settlements when we do informal settlement upgrade and reblocking.
Yeah, it's a complex and complicated picture, but the good thing, at least you as a city of Johannesburg currently have applied to national government to try and get funding for proper housing, and you've got a plan that also includes verifying the citizenship of the people who are in that informal settlement. Thank you very much, Mlungisi Mabaso. He's, of course, the MMC for housing in the city of Johannesburg.